Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jack Burris. I'm live in North Carolina, city of Statesville, about 40 miles north of Charlotte. Uh, was raised in the mountains, Smoky Mountains and Blue Ridges of North Carolina. Had a wonderful childhood, and I've taken the opportunity to write down a lot of those memories. Uh, I've written 2 books, and they're based mainly on growing up in the mountains as a young boy, and then those experiences, the friends I've met, the characters I've met, the good times I've had. Some of the bad times I talk about, some of them I don't. But I do think that everyone you meet in life contributes. And so it's important, perhaps the most important thing is friends and family. And of course, I'm a Christian. Even if there was no thought of heaven, I am thankful that I grew up under the discipleship of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The books are available on Amazon. The first one is A River of Memories from the Mountains in the 50s. It's a good book, I think, especially for older people. They seem to relate to the stories, the things that I recall as a child and a young man. Then the second one I wrote, sort of the same theme, A River of Memories. And it's just that. I'm an old man with not many miles to go. Take a ride with me along the old path, you will be blessed. The Blue Ridges are calling, and I must go, if only in my mind. So this book is a collection of memories and observations that are sure to relate to some of your own life experiences. So come with me and let's take a stroll down memory lane back into the fabulous 50s and forward into today's world. Some dreams of youth do come true. So come on, let's take a ride. I'm going to read you a little bit out of the second book, give you an idea of who I am and where I came from. And I dedicated this book to my mom and dad who are gone on, and I miss them every day. It does not seem right that I can dial 254-1361 in Asheville, North Carolina, and they not answer the phone. But you know, somehow or another they get gone, and there's so many questions we should have asked that we didn't ask. So many things I wish I'd have said that I didn't say. So many things I'd like to do over. But this is not a life of do-over, and you can't drive a car looking in the rearview mirror. So life goes on, and we let things get by us sometimes because we get too busy. Too busy making a living, raising children, and all those things that are necessary. But perhaps most of us regret not doing some things. And I've said before, maybe there's a corner of heaven where we can get together and have that conversation that we need to have. So I dedicated it first to Mom, who pushed me to do and always kept the porch light on for me. She taught me great lessons about life and love. The note she left for me that I did not find for a year after she passed over Jordan is perhaps the most wonderful words I have ever read and reread so many times. To my darling son. I wasn't always a darling son, but she loved me just like I was. I cut many switches because she loved me enough to discipline me. Thank you, Mom. I love and miss you. Then I dedicated it to my dad. We never played ball and only went fishing together a handful of times. But he set the example early on about how to be a man. He just worked. He worked and provided for us. the result of his strong faith, and because that was what fathers do, it's why he did it. I miss you, Dad, and I hope somewhere in a corner of heaven we can sit down and have that talk, and I can tell you how much I appreciate the father you was to me. I love you, and I miss you. I also dedicated the book to my wife, Jerry. To my wife, Jerry, an outstanding woman of character who came into my life with grace and beauty and love. Your love for others, and especially children, is second to none. You have dedicated yourself to helping foster children and are especially gifted at caring for babies and me. I loved you before you did CPR and saved my life, and I didn't think I could love you more, but I do. It is a wonderful feeling to know that just inside our front door is peace and a place of rest. And you, my wife and partner and friend, provides that for us. Thank you, Jerry. I love you. So those are the dedication of the book. And I wrote a little preview about the second book. I did both of them, but in the second one I wrote a little preview. I'll read it to you. And the introduction. This river of memories is deep and wide. I could write a book on mistakes I have made, of messes I have created, of sorrow I have known. But I could put a larger volume on the good times I have had. Each life event has made me who I am. Everyone I ever met has contributed to who I am. I wish I could put my arms around each one and hug so tightly and just say, I love you and thank you for helping me along this journey. That was the introduction. Then I did a little preface that explains the book, and I'll be done with this particular video. What am I going to do about this love I have for the old past? This love for a way of life that is fast disappearing. This love for the Blue Ridges and the Smoky Mountains. Well, I figured I would write down some of these thoughts and observations for my grandchildren to read if they become interested in our history. That's what this current project is about. Musings and memories of an old man. I have a deep love for the church, a deep love for our country, and a deep love for our history. And it hurts me when so many young folk know nothing about where we came from or what made America great. How can I convey to you what a sunset or a sunrise means to me? How can I share what a baby's hands and feet do to my heart? How can I express what I see when on top of a mountain looking down at God's handiwork? Maybe through these writings you catch a glimpse of my love for the old ways and my love for the mountains and my love for the people I have met. It's been a long road with not many miles to go. Things I have accumulated and what we have don't seem that important anymore. We can't take stuff with us, but we can leave behind things of value. A good name, a journal, a family who loves us. Soon now, everyone I grew up with will be going home. Some have left mighty footprints for others to follow. Some will leave their grandchildren too much money. Some will leave nothing at all. Some have preached the gospel. Some have taught school. Some have been in the medical field. Some have worked with their hands, and some have been disabled. Some have suffered. Some have been in jail. Some have been lawyers and judges. Some in law enforcement. Some have addictions, and some have committed suicide. Yet we all started out with dreams. We would change the world. I was going to play baseball for the Yankees. I was going to be wealthy. Well, that didn't happen, but it was a dream. And I started out with nothing, and now at 77 years old, I still have most of it. There are not many words I use that you will need a dictionary for. The stories are quite simple, and most could be used as a devotion of sorts. So, if you, a reader, value family, faith, and America, there's something in this book for you. The old paths must have been the right paths, because take a long, hard look at our history and see how we prospered as a nation. It all began with men wanted religious freedom and just wanted to be free from England's rule. Adventurous men and women who believed that to get ahead you had to work and earn it. And so they did. Hard work from first light to can't see. But it paid off, especially for America in the 30s and through the 70s. You will find while reading this book that I really loved growing up in the 40s and 50s. This country was alive and growing, and for me, it was the golden years. I'm convinced that reading some each day will help you along this journey. Perhaps you will begin to include in your prayers, like I did, this request. Help me say or do something for someone else that will encourage them in this life's journey. I promise you, when you say that prayer, you will meet people that you can help. He answers that prayer, because that is what basic Christian action and reaction is, saying or doing something for someone else. I have been so blessed to meet so many wonderful folk to encourage and to be encouraged. Like the motorcycle rider on the parkway who was big and rough looking, and I hesitated to even talk to him, but I was kind of pressed to do so from my inner spirit, if you will. He said he was going to ride around America and back to his wife in Virginia. He said she insisted he make the trip, but she just didn't believe she could ride on a motorcycle all that way. He said, and tears came in his eyes, he said he had terminal cancer and was praying every day that he could make it back to her. Tears flowed, and he said, if it gets so bad, I may just leave the bike and go home. He said, I need to kiss her and tell her goodbye and tell her how much I loved her. I think of him often and wonder if he succeeded in his dream. I wonder if he made it all the way around America and back to her. I hope he did. I hope that it was successful. I hope he got to take his wife in his arms and kiss her goodbye. So you see, that was a chance encounter, but it's a go-to memory that is a blessing every time I think of him. Sometimes we meet angels unaware. I try to be ready for that. So open up the book and let's take a ride down memory lane together. I promise you, somewhere along the line, you will be blessed. Thank you.